Alright, hello and welcome to another RuneScape 3 video. This is Algoric here. I'm pretty sure that's how I pronounce my name, but yeah, this is the one RuneScape gave me. In this video today, I'll be going over how to organize your bank, because I got a lot of comments in a previous video that said that the bank organization was really good to look at, and I wanted to go over a few things to how I got it to that point. So without further ado, let's jump in. Alright, as you can see, this is the first overview tab, and then tab 2, 3, etc. from there. One thing to note when you organize your bank is items that look very similar to each other, for example, like these teleport scrolls, they will pop out when you first log into a bank or you go to see your own bank, and when other people see your bank, it'll actually be things that look similar and look neat will pop out. So for example, one of the biggest things I did early on was I separated my tabs into magic, food, potions, gear, looting tab. Most players will do that. Or actually, most players sometimes won't do that. They'll actually just throw everything into their bank to start with. And then it looks really messy because you'll have random quest items plotted all over your bank. You'll have food in different places, potions in different places. So basically what we want to do is you want to organize it by item type, and then organize the items that are in their tabs by type for like. So for example, runes down here. As you can see, all the runes along here are in all bunched together. You can see all the pouches are bunched together, tele tabs and teleport scrolls bunched together, my necromancy stuff. So that's probably another tip. So when this was just a mage tab, it actually ended over here with the catalytic anima stone. I made a point of putting everything I got from necromancy into the magic tab, but as a sort of secondary tab within that, just for necromancy. So that's something to keep in mind. When you get logs or planks like what I did, for example, no one needs these nails, but they went well with logs, planks, spades, things like that. So logs at the top followed closely by planks, and then nails and things like that. If you've got a bit of money or a bit of money to burn, like for example, you don't need rune nails over iron nails when doing your player-owned house. But it does look really good having the iron, steel, mithril, adamant, and rune. It would look even better if I had bronze or any other ore type nail right next to it. So like for like items look really good. So that's one of the things that I did early on. Just made sure I got like for like together, item types together. So what we'll do, we'll go down to food and potions. So as you can see, food, it looks really neat. There's a trick to the food and the potions tab that makes it look really neat. And the trick is that I've got the raw variant of the food usually underneath the cooked variant. So for example, tuna, don't ask why 2 million tuna, I'll never use those, but it looks better on the eyes when you're scrolling through your bank if you can see, there's probably a word for it, but matching items basically is what it is. So one thing that probably players will notice is that all these are in 100,000 lots, but then you've got the sailfish on the end, sticks out like a bit of a sore thumb at the moment because it's not in a 100k lot. So keeping your items quantities closer together if you can is also a good way to make it look a bit neater. But basically anything food, anything to do with fishing, things like that go into this tab. We'll go down to the potions as well. So one of the things that I liked, and I came up with this configuration a long time ago, is having my grimy and clean weeds. So I've got the clean bloodweed and the grimy bloodweed basically next to each other. So having a section here for your grimy weeds and whatnot, having a section for just overloads and 6-dose flask potions on this side, and then your normal 4-dose and traditional flask potions on this. So, and then I just did the 4 blessed flasks together because you see the lines of a 4 up and horizontal and vertical. It makes it look really nice. And then basically in this lower section here, you'll see a collection of used potions, potion supplies, secondary ingredients, things like that. That will, when I did my overload, making my overload potion sets. So the things like that, anything that is in some sort of line or relative to the item next to it will definitely go a long way to improving the look of your bank. But yeah, just keeping things like that. We'll go further down just into the charm tab. In the charm tab, you have all the masks, you have the charms, you have the summoning pouches and scrolls. So under each summoning pouch, there will be its relevant scroll. So even though I don't use a lot of these, I make sure I have the scroll underneath it to make it look really nice. FYI too, I saw this as I was talking. When did I get the Slayer pet? I don't know. I did a bank video a few weeks ago. I didn't have it then. Now I do have it. So I must have been AFKing pretty hard at that point because I didn't even notice. I'll go over just two more tabs, the gear and loot tab. And I might go over the outfits tab because you'll see a really nice layout there for that too. So gears tab, you can see it's broken down pretty clearly. You've got your skill capes and capes in general in the top, amulets and rings, followed by ammo, and then books and pages. So as you can see, it's clearly each line is pretty much a type of item. So it goes a long way to making it look good. So like a lot of these books I don't really use, but I bought a few of them to fill this out a little bit to make it match and look really nice. So further down again, if you notice here in the middle, shields, god swords under the shields, and tank outfits, I think, or what do they call those? Just your general outfits above that. Sorry, your God Wars Dungeon 2 outfits above that. They only came in 3 pieces, and then I actually added the Glaycore boots next to them, and then I had the sets of armor on either side. So Bandos Armadillo on one side, Torva or Nex armor sets on the other, range armor set on one side, then melee under that, tank under that, necromancy mage tank over here. So as you can see, that's how I laid it out. It's a bit messier down the bottom here. So the organization pretty much ends at probably this point, and then there's some random items. But you can see how random items make it look a bit choppy and not as good compared to what's above. So I'll go into the loot tab. That's the next thing. So bones. I bought a lot of these bones for necromancy and never sold them. Honestly, I should have. But you can see bones on a tab line. You can see silver, like stone spirits on a tab line. Gems. A lot of these items can be put away in additional locations, but I think they look better in the bank. Dragon items on a tab line. Arc Glacier loot, salvage loot, additional items that match throughout. So as I collected them over the years, I put them in, and then you can see down the bottom again, it just starts to fall apart as it gets to the bottom. Like this should be in my seed bag, a random warhammer, a random adamant arrows, and a treasure hunter item that has been there for a long time. I think that's a treasure hunter item. And then the last tab I'll go into is the skilling outfit tab, which is, as you can see, it's just skilling outfits in a vertical line, basically going down. Sometimes it really bugged me when I accidentally removed something from here that I didn't have the placeholder enabled, and it would screw it all up when I exited the bank. But I'll show you something that'll fix this tab and make it look better. If I simply move that out of there and throw it into there, all of a sudden that tab looks a lot cleaner. You know, there's no just lone item at the bottom. It's actually all in order a bit more. At the end here, though, some of these items don't necessarily belong, and they're no longer in the vertical format. But yeah, you get the idea. Basically, items, so to summarize, you want to keep items that look very similar together. You want to use vertical and horizontal lines of a particular type of item or family of items. What I mean by family of items is like the Lunar set would be a family of items, 5 or 6 items that belong to that set. So as you can see here, the proteins, at the bottom. All the proteins match pretty much. I will go into that tab just to show you as well. So this is my treasure hunter tab. If you saw the bank video, you've probably already seen this. If you're the first time seeing it, you're probably shocked. But I've spent a lot of money on treasure hunter. I shouldn't have, but yeah, I had fun with it anyway. But as you can see, all proteins at the top. Item family types here belong to each other. Those belong. The red proteins belong. The green Santa gear belongs. The dummies belong. And when you have multiple items like that in their groups that belong together in a tab, the tab will naturally look good. And as you can see down here, I'll show you this last tab. As you can see, this is just a tab of random crap. It looks weird. It doesn't look particularly organized. But even this, the thing that pops out, you can see straight away, is the Grigris. Like, I'll put that there, and all of a sudden, because they have the same basic model, maybe the texture changed slightly, it looks a lot better. So consider that as well. It doesn't matter if the item types don't actually match up. If the item looks similar enough to another item, it'll look better next to each other than it will at random spots in the tab. So that's something just to consider. But just take your time, do one tab a night or something like that, or you can do your whole, depends on how many items you got really. It wouldn't take me long to do a bank because I'm a little OCD when it comes to visual representation of item types and things like that. But yeah, just take your time with it, experiment a little bit with what looks good, as I said, in your vertical or horizontal formats. Keep item types together, and yeah, that's basically it. Don't be afraid to buy placeholders off the Grand Exchange as well. Like, for example, we'll go straight back up the top. Say if you had 3 big stacks of logs, or this is for Iron Man too. So if you can't buy it off the Grand Exchange, just go get a few logs. Like, it'll look better if you have, say, 10k normal logs, 10k oaks, 5k willows. And then you had, say, 4k magic. It will look better if you had 100 or so maples and 100 or so yews, even though the stack quantities aren't going to be exact or up there with the others. It will still look better flowing in a natural order. And the other thing that makes the items look good is, as I said with the logs, you got your normal logs all the way through to basically your corrupt magic logs. And as I said, elder logs. This stack of quantity of items doesn't match the others, but they're there. And the only reason they don't really match is because they're worth still 11k, and I don't want to drop a few bill just in logs, even though I could, but I don't really want to do that. Who knows? Maybe I'll actually go wood chop them later. But anyway, as a final part of the video, let's redeem the Slayer pet. So, bang, unlock the pet Krabby. I think that's how you say it, or Crappy. I probably butchered that name. But as you can see, there's no item there. Everything got pushed up and looks a lot better already. So yeah, so anyway, thank you for watching the video. If you do have any questions about bank organization or anything like that, let me know in the comments. If you do want me to go through the bank properly, I did do a bank video. I will link it in the comments, or the description below, sorry. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching.